All right, folks, welcome back to yet another episode of Fresh Juice, an indie game podcast. I am one of your hosts, Tommy Fresh, and joined as always, it is
Maddie Juice. What is going on, everybody? It's good to have you here. Thank you for tuning in. Tommy, what is on the menu for the people today?
Well, we actually have some specials on the menu today. We have a catch of the day, which is a red snapper served in a lemon butter sauce.
Mm.
And I'm kidding, of course. We are going to be reviewing Forbidden Solitaire, a game that I love the demo, and then I played the whole game. So we'll be talking about that. We have a juicy take, some news, notable releases, listener questions, rec
Yeah.
rooms, and that's pretty much it, folks. But it's going to be a good episode. Strap in, have a good time. You have to have a good time. It's
Yeah.
in the rules.
And
But
you know what's special about this episode too is we've had 3 certified fresh juices in a row, both of us agreeing. We've hit the turkey. Can we make it 4? We'll have to
what's
see.
is that double turkey or is that
Um what is let's see. What is
four strikes in a
4
row?
strikes in a row? I thought it was a different name. Yeah, it's called a ham bone. I'm not joking. It
No,
says 4
stop.
strikes in a row in bowling is most commonly called a ham bone.
All
While a
right.
series of
Let's
3 strikes is known as a turkey, the term ham bone was popularized by broadcaster Rob Stone. There you
Oh
go.
yeah, Robbie Stones.
Also, people call it a 4-bagger, but I like ham bone.
Yeah,
5 is Yahtzee or
that
5
makes
bagger,
sense.
and then 6 is 6-pack. So
Okay. All
we're going
right.
for the ham bone. We'll see.
We're
See if
going
we
for
can
the
get it.
ham bone.
Yeah.
Holy. All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. How was your weekend? What'd you get up to?
Yeah, it was another busy weekend here in the Juice household. On let's see, on well, first off, Friday. Shout out to Danny D Train, our cousin, our cuz. Happy birthday, brother! Happy birthday!
Happy
If you're
birthday.
listening, probably not, but maybe.
No, I
Um,
think maybe.
maybe. Um, but yeah, so Saturday we had to go to my wife's side. We did a family party for like a communion over there, which is like the first time we brought baby juice to meet like a lot of her family. So that was a lot of fun. She got to like kind of they had like a DJ there that was like just for kids kind of thing. So she got to like go out there and we were dancing with her and stuff. So it was a good time. Unfortunately, it seems like my mother-in-law maybe got some. She's allergic to seafood. It seems like maybe there was
Oh,
some sort of fish like in some of the food that she ate, like the sauce for the steak or I don't know, something like that. But she did not have a good night on Saturday night, unfortunately, which is relevant because Sunday was Mother's Day and she wasn't able to make it. But my mom came over, my side of the family, and then my sister-in-law as well came over on Sunday. So we had um, Chinese food, which was delicious, and then had some like Italian kind of pastries on for Sunday night. And then yeah, we just had a doctor appointment in the morning. My daughter, I did a swim class with Baby Juice. So we her first one was last week, which Lady Juice did, and then I did it this week. We're kind of like alternating the weeks, and yeah, I think it went okay. But there's a point in the swim class where like you dunk the baby under the water for like a second, and you kind of do it like 2 or 3 times. And I don't know, maybe I didn't wait enough in between, but the second time I dunked her under, she came up and she was not happy. And there's like other kids there and stuff, but she's like, and I'm like, oh, it's okay, it's all right. But she ended up like calming down and everything. I just think it's it's new for her, right? It's only her second
hmm
time she's ever been in a pool. But it was fun, and she definitely slept good on Sunday night because of all that stuff. And then yeah, family coming over made her really happy and all that. So yeah, it was quite the experience. But man, these weekends are tiring. It's just one thing after another. Even when you're looking at the calendar, you're like, oh, I only got one thing I got to do today. But then there's like all this other stuff that comes up around the house or whatever it is. So This upcoming weekend hopefully should be a little chiller. We don't really have much planned, so that'll be good. And then this week is pretty chill as well. So we'll see. But yeah, so that was the weekend. Just a lot of family stuff, swimming, good food. Had some Chinese. Now I got a question for you.
Yes.
With Chinese food, okay, and this
Mm-hmm.
just might be a me thing because, as you know, I'm a picky eater. All right,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah.
generally, I mean, I've expanded, but I'm not on your level. All right, and Chinese food, like, are you when you order it? Are you getting it family style typically, or like does it matter maybe if it's just you and Lady Fresh? Are you not? Are you just getting your own thing? Like, how do you have your Chinese food?
Um, so when Lady Fresh and I do it, we kind of order what we want, right? For like an entree. So what
Yeah.
our plan is always like two entrees that we want, right? Each.
Hmm.
So for her, it's usually like General Tso's chicken or sesame chicken or whatever. Me, I love the Singapore noodles. And then we will get like dumplings, maybe some egg rolls as like appetizers. And then we'll get like a third entree.
Yeah.
And we end up kind of doing family style and splitting it all a little bit because we kind of we have like very similar taste.
Yeah.
So, but we always make sure to get something we specifically want. But like when we order, it's like it lasts us like 3 meals,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
easily.
So a
It's
lot.
honestly,
Yeah.
it's a better deal than like groceries sometimes.
Let's just
I
order
s-
Chinese every 3 days. Might as well
well,
get something different.
the place by us, if you hit $50, you get a free fried rice.
Hmm.
So usually the three entrees, some appetizers hit us at like right at $50. You get a free fried rice on top of that. And that like $50 for two people covering 3 meals.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pretty good.
you do the math because I don't, I because I can't. I'm physically unable. Um, but okay, yeah, that's what I do.
Okay. All right. No, it's good to know because like I think it's just because I only really ever get like one thing from Chinese places. I mean, I've had other stuff before, but like I get like a spicy pepper steak and onion.
Ooh, nice,
I like it.
classic.
Yeah, and then just like it comes with a side of white rice or whatever. And that's really like the only thing I eat. So we were like talking about, if we were doing it family style or not, and I was just like, I mean, I just didn't want to because I'm like, I don't want anything else. Like, I don't eat the other stuff. But it was just, something I never kind of considered. And there's two things I'm realizing about myself. I know this is a long recap, but there's two things. I'll end it with this. One, I am not super because I'm a picky. These are probably because I'm picky. I'm a picky eater. But one,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not super into family style in general. I mean, it could be
Sure.
okay or whatever, but I'm just like, I know what I want. I'm just gonna eat that. Like I don't, whatever. But two, I don't like the places where I gotta cook my own food. Like there's melting pot. We went to hot pot or whatever, which is like fine, but because I'm just not, like, I don't eat a lot of like Asian food. But like I don't I I'm like, I'm paying. I want you to cook it for me. Like,
Okay. All right.
like
All right.
that's. I mean, I'm not. It's not like I would be like, I'm never going again to like a place like that. It's just I prefer to go to a place where like I don't have to cook my own food because I'm not a good cook, like in general. And I'm just like, am I overcooking this? Am I undercooking it? I don't know. Like I felt like, especially I was sitting next to our buddy Kevin. We went to Hot Pot. We went to PAX East. Shout out PAX. And we both like had never really used chopsticks before. So we're just like figuring it out what to do. And then we're like, well, we just dropped that meat in there. I hope I can find it. And so it made for a fun time. But it was also like, I was also like, I guess I cooked this enough. I don't really know. But I know like we went to Korean barbecue. We're out in LA. Like
Yeah.
I like that. Like that was good. I think it was just the hot pot thing was like, if I drop this, I don't know where it is.
You're never getting it again.
I'm
Yeah.
never getting it again. And yeah, so anyway, two things I'm just realizing about myself where even going to a place like Carmine's, right, where it's like it's Italian food, family style for those that don't know. But since I'm a picky eater, I'm like, man, like I don't
You
want
just want
people
the
to.
thing you want.
Well, it's not fully that. It's like I don't want to force people to have what I want.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Like if someone wants like clams or something, like get it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna eat it, but it's whatever. Anyway, that's just what I'm realizing about myself as I get older. You always learn new things about yourself as you get older.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I there's a lot of novelty with it, like the melting pot and even hot pot to a certain extent. But like here, one of my favorite things to order at like a regular like American restaurant is like a wedge salad.
Yeah.
Which like comes out and you have to chop up the salad.
Yeah.
Which
ridiculous.
It is crazy.
It is.
It's crazy because why can't they do it? Because what's the difference?
Yeah. It's like when you get a burger and it's disassembled. I'm like, why am I assembling this? I mean, it's fine. These are first world problems, but it's
well,
also,
okay. Here's
it's just
okay.
weird.
What are you like? What are your takes? What's your take on fajitas? Right, that comes out. You got to fill up your tortilla and choose the toppings to throw on there.
Listen, I love fajitas. All right.
Yeah, me too.
I'm good with doing that, but I think it's also because like I'll eat the stuff separately too.
Okay.
like I'll make a fajita, eat it, and then I'll eat some of the meat, I'll eat some of the rice. Like I'll just have some of it, mix a little sour cream into the rice. Like I'll just eat it separately a little bit. But I also think that it's probably like that because when you get fajitas, the meat's coming out and it's like super hot.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, whatever. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I just thought about it. That's how my weekend went. So what about you? Where were you up to?
We had a busy weekend. On Friday, we went out to dinner with Lady Fresh's family for Mother's Day. Like an early Mother's Day, we went out to Metuchen, New Jersey, which is, probably in the top 5 funniest town names in the great state of New Jersey.
Yep.
We went to this place called Terzo, kind of this like modernized Italian joint, but the pasta was like banging, and we all did like, because they had like 6 pasta options, right?
Yeah.
And I guess it's always changing. So you can either just order the pasta or do a tasting, basically, where you pay like $50, you get 3 half portions of the pasta.
Okay.
So you're paying a little bit more to get basically a pasta dish and a half, but you get to try all 3. And it was really good. It was awesome. And I'm learning something about myself is that I can't eat like I used to be able to eat because about 3:30 in the morning I woke up and heartburn and just like I think I was reading about it. It's like it happens a lot with like high carb stuff is that you have like this insulin crash or whatever a certain amount of hours after you eat all of that.
Yeah.
And your body like responds and like creates a lot of cortisol or something like that to like, it's like, oh, no, you're not supposed to be crashing like this or whatever. So like I woke up and I just couldn't go to sleep for another 3 hours. So I was up from like 3:30 to 6:30.
That's what happens with babies too. That's why they wake up in the middle of the night is the cortisol stuff. Yeah. That's what I learned.
I'm just a baby, out here.
I was figuring you were going to say it was like tomato sauce, like the acidity, like, cause that gets me. We got to buy, we buy like tomato sauce without the onions and the garlic in it, just so it's like, a little more tame, but
that's like, that will get me too. But like, that's usually immediately after. This was just like, this was, I don't know, like 5 hours after I probably had my last piece of pasta. Yeah. So whatever. I'm learning a lot about myself that I'm getting older. First of all, we're just learning, right? That's what we're doing.
Yep.
Saturday hung out, and then we had a comedy show in New York. Irish comedian named Vittorio Angeloni, which is a hilarious name for an Irish person. Obviously of Italian descent, but we listened to his podcast, and we went to Gramercy Theater, saw him. It was awesome. It was very funny. We both really had to pee at the end, and like if you know New York, like it's not like the most public bathroom kind of friendly place.
Yeah.
So we were like, I'm like, let's go into this restaurant. And we just like blew past the host. We're just, oh, we're meeting people. Now we didn't say that, but like we kind of made it seem like that. And then we just went straight to the bathroom, used it, all good. And then I was like, oh, and I pulled this move out, right? Just so the host didn't like be like, did you guys just go in here to use the bathroom and leave? I was just like, oh, thanks. Have a great night. Grab the mint. Like,
Nice.
like I was already there. I'd been there.
There you go. It's a good bit. It's a good bit.
the food was great, So that was Saturday.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, took Lady Fresh to the airport, got her out of here. She's in Tejas for the foreseeable future. We don't know when. No, she'll be back this week. And last night, hung out. Probably got a little too banged up because I was home alone, and feeling it today. But we're back on the train, as anybody who's watching the YouTube can tell. So, but another train that we are on is the Discord train, folks, because it is free for anybody to join, and we have one. It's called the Fresh Juice Discord. It's a great place for the juice heads to hang out, submit questions, chill, talk about games, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
Let's hop in to the show. I got a juicy take this week.
Ooh. What's it going to be?
My juicy take now, for those who are new to the podcast, a juicy take is a hot take, but it's juicy. And my juicy take of the week is every game that has like hit points or a health bar or whatever would be better off with just hearts.
Oh.
A la like Legend of Zelda. I was going to say not Lord of the Rings. Like Legend of Zelda Hearts.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. Like Legend of Zelda Hearts, right? And whatever. If you want to get like into the nitty gritty, you lose like a quarter of a heart.
Yeah.
Or you can only lose like a half a heart. Or you lose the whole heart.
Yeah.
I just think, let's not overcomplicate it. Let's just, and if you want to give your character or whatever a ton of hearts, you could do that. You dev the game, right? It's for you to do, but it's just a better system, I think. And I don't really have a lot of reasons to back this up, or a lot of like reasons why I think this.
Yeah.
I just like it. I've been playing some Ocarina of Time again, and it's just a good system, and I really, really like it. And there's also, here's the thing. I think I know why, actually, now that I think about it. It is because it is way more satisfying when you get more hearts.
That's what I was going to mention. I was like, that is like the bigger dopamine hit than just seeing your health bar or even just a number go up.
The number is like, oh,
like another, you're like, I'm unstoppable.
Yeah. It is sick, right? Like, on the flip side of that, right? Like I remember like in between, I think it was Gen 1 Pokemon to Gen 2 Pokemon, right? Gen 1 Pokemon didn't have the experience bar.
Yeah.
If you remember, right? You just had to go check in your Pokemon's like page to see how much more XP you needed, right? And I don't know if it's better that you got the experience bar. I think it's for quality of life, it makes a lot more sense. But like there was something a little magical in Gen 1 when you'd be like just weren't like did not check and like, like I just gained like 3 levels because my like level 5 Weedle just beat Onyx at Brock's gym,
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but it did.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think it's almost like the less information you have, the more exciting those moments
Mm-hmm.
are, right? Especially when it comes to like the hearts. There's a lot of games like I just think of Dark Souls, right? Where I'm like, oh, if it was hearts instead of like a health bar, that would mean that the enemies then need to attack based on like quarter hearts, right? Where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, they do, 6 quarter hearts worth of damage per swing or something like that. I feel like that also helps you kind of realize, you know, how much like how what's going to happen to you essentially. So
Mm-hmm.
like when if I'm playing like Elden Ring or whatever, something like that they deal damage and it's based on a number. They deal like 168 damage. Like I'm not really paying attention to those numbers, but if I know that like I know in Zelda like I that this enemy does a 1 heart's worth of damage per swing, I know that I'm not going to die if I get hit. So I can kind of
Mm-hmm.
try out different strategies and stuff. And then once I think also something that's really cool with the hearts, at least related to Zelda, is when you get low, it's like that
Bing,
feeling of
bing,
like,
bing, bing,
yeah, that
bing,
that
bing.
sound drives you crazy, but it also drives you forward, right? You're just
Mm-hmm.
like I know I'm on the edge here, but I'm gonna keep pushing it. And then obviously when you get a heart, if you get an extra heart and it just boop, 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 everything kind of goes up. I think that system is definitely a lot more satisfying, but it obviously is more rigid in terms of uh you can't have an enemy that does like an eighth of a heart worth of damage unless the system for hearts supports that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
something like that. Obviously it would have to. It couldn't just be like you took a game like Elden Ring and you swapped out the health bar for hearts. You'd have to kind of rework the way the enemies deal damage and the way other things deal damage. But I prefer the heart system as well in general. I think that it's you could even think of it in Pokemon, right? Like if there was a heart system instead of like a health
It would be
bar,
kind of cool. It would be kind of
it would be
cool.
kind of cool.
Listen, yeah, I get that. Like with some RPGs, it's like, you know, you kind of need like a number, right? But like we could get some heart. We can get the heart thing kind of incorporated somehow, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, even if it's just hearts are the shape, like just like you got like 5 hearts, and that's just the shape of the health bar. It's
yeah,
not you're not losing actual hearts. It's the regular,
yeah,
loss of life, hit points, you
yeah.
know. But that's my juicy take of the
Hey,
week.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, in my opinion, like the best way to play Smash is with stock, right? What are those? They're hearts, they're
Mm-hmm.
lives,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's it's in other games, even though it might not look like a heart. So, I think you're on to something there. I would prefer it as well. Is there a game that you specifically maybe were thinking of where you're like, man, it would have been cool if this had hearts in it instead of the way the current health is?
There
Or what?
wasn't like a specific game per se. I was just thinking about how much I love it in Zelda,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I started like applying it to like other things. I think like I didn't really play Dark Souls, but I played Elden Ring. Yeah, that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I think that you could definitely do it because like without Zelda, there's no Skyrim, there's no Elden Ring,
Yeah.
there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
So you know, I think that I like it like that, right? Like I think even like in like beat 'em ups and like fighting games and stuff like that, you
Yeah.
know, I could see it working. I can. There's
Yeah.
gonna be people who's like, there's no way, it makes no sense, but then just try to think outside the box. It's just you only know the health bars,
Yeah.
right? So
Now, how
yeah.
would you feel if a new Zelda came out without the heart system?
Oof.
Would
Oh
that be
man.
tough? Like, do you think that it would feel wrong?
Honestly, I think the way they've been doing Zeldas, like I think they're just gonna evolve it out of anything that was. Like I truly think Tears
Mm,
of the Kingdom was such a far departure,
yeah.
right? Breath of the Wild was a big departure, right?
Yeah.
No doubt. And then I felt like Tears of the Kingdom were like, yeah, well, it's kind of Minecraft too, right? And or maybe more Fortnite in a way. Just like,
Yeah.
yeah, just build stuff. So I could see them doing it. I wouldn't like it. Like, I didn't really like Tears of the Kingdom that much. So,
You know what I think would be really cool is if they really did. This is like getting off track, but if they did evolve Zelda,
uh
like
huh.
obviously they're loving the open world things that I know there's been like there was the Zelda game as well where it was kind of like Tears of the Kingdom, right, where you could like spawn in like a item like a chair and then
Mm-hmm.
whatever that game was called. But if we're thinking about like open world Zeldas, how cool would it be if like imagine Breath of the Wild with dungeons, right? Or with let's say the dungeons were the same way that the shrines were, right? Where there's like a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
them. But
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
go into a dungeon and it's like it pops up and it's like made by another player, right? It's kind of like
Oh,
Questmaster and you're like, "Oh my god." And every person that plays like like the next playthrough you do, the dungeons are different based on like what
oh,
people have made. Like I think that would be really cool and a good evolution of Zelda because that's the part that's missing is like those ocarina dungeons, right? Those temples, that feeling of, of kind of this like systematic way of figuring things out rather than like I don't know, the shrines were like little bite-sized versions of that just didn't have the same sort of feeling. I feel like that could be a cool evolution where it's like, there could be some Nintendo crafted dungeons, of course, but then like if you got to a point where maybe it was like player made dungeons that you had to deal with, could be kind of cool. Could be cool.
think it would be neat. Think it
Yeah.
would be neat. But, you know, I think we should also maybe add some deck builder elements, maybe
Yeah.
roguelike elements
And hearts, more hearts.
with like meta progression, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And chess.
And chest and loot drops.
Yeah.
So, and maybe some extraction elements in there. Who knows? But all right, let's get to some news.
Let's do it.
Slay the Spire 2 is getting review bombed again, this time because of chuds. That is the Kotaku headline there, but it is not far from the truth. Uh, so there are allegedly, as of today, whenever this was written, which was a couple days ago, 2,525 and counting negative reviews. Because online chuds are mad that media critic and feminist frequency founder Anita Sarkeesian is listed as the Slate Aspire 2 in the Slate Aspire 2's credits as a consultant. Now, Sarkeesian, if you don't know, was kind of the centerpiece or the focus of Gamergate from however many years ago. Um, back in 2012, she raised just under 1,600 160,000, sorry, through a Kickstarter campaign to fund a YouTube series called titled Tropes versus Women in Video Games, kind of critiquing different things about video games, how they used to be. The main
Yeah.
one that, like, when I learned about Gamergate, because I had always heard about it, and you know I was like, well, I don't really know what's going on because I was not like that kind of gamer. I wasn't like an online gamer. I wasn't like that plugged into YouTube at the time. So I was like, what is this? What is this Gamergate thing? So I looked it up. Basically, I think the big one that kind of broke out was a video that she made or her channel had made about the damsel in distress kind of trope in video games and how it's, kind of damaging for, it's in general, it's a trope that happens in film and books and anything, any kind of media that's kind of like problematic for women in general. It's just like, well, why are these women so helpless in these pieces of media?
Yeah.
And I think it's a fair thing to discuss, but the people in the video game world were not happy about it. So there was a lot of harassment, death threats, et cetera, et cetera. And to Anita's credit, has kind of still stayed in the industry, you know, which, that's got to be hard in and itself. But now because she's tied to a project in any kind of way.
Yeah.
People are freaking out and review bombing, which is for any reason, I think dumb. Honestly. So
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
It is. And honestly, I mean, I'm also, I'm not like super tuned in to write like Gamergate. We were talking about a little bit before the show. You had to remind me what it was because
Hmm.
it wasn't something that like, I was just super tuned into either. And this brings up a few kind of points for me. One, are we ever going to evolve past the point of leaving a review for a game because you disagree with something that has nothing to do with the game itself, right?
Yeah.
Like why would you review bomb a game where like the whole point of reviews is to be like, is this game did you like the game or did you not like the game?
Hmm.
And it like this has nothing to do with it. Two, the other point I want to make is just when is we need some sort of system on Steam specifically that requires either the person I don't think I think people can leave reviews for Steam games even if they don't own them. But also I feel like if that isn't the case, then there needs to be some sort of uh, minimum requirement to leave a review, right? Where you see some of these people that like this person 0 hours in the last 2 weeks, zero point 0.9 hours on record. Product refunded. Politics and Games is their review, and they did not recommend it. That person has not. You can't spend less than an hour in Slay the Spire 2 and give it a fair review. Like there needs to be some sort of system. I understand all games are different, so there could be kind of a scale of like if your game, like developers could set, you need to at least have 2 hours in the game in order to leave a review, or 5 hours, whatever it might be. I feel like there's got to be some sort of system in place, and maybe Valve and Steam still allows anyone to review, but there should be like a filter. If there's not already, there might be, but like you should be able to say, okay, I can look at all reviews, or I can look at like um certified reviews essentially of like here's people that have actually put a lot of time into the game or a good amount of time and this is what they think. Because if you think about it, like I'm gonna go if I'm gonna look for reviews for something, I'm gonna go to like a streamer or a YouTuber that I know plays a lot of those kind of games and has already put a lot of time in to get their thoughts. Like this is like the equivalent of, and I'm not even talking about what specifically they said, but this is the equivalent of like hopping into a stream right after a game comes out and the streamer's been in there for 20 minutes and you're like, is it good? Like they're gonna be like, I don't know. I don't know if it's good. I've only played for 20 minutes, but apparently you can still leave reviews on stuff even if you've only played it for 20 minutes. So I think that's a
Yeah.
big problem. But also, yeah, it's just, I also think like that Gamergate kind of conversation, like it's fine to have that sort of conversation. It's not hurting anything. It's just someone bringing up a point of like, hey, have you guys noticed this? Like this trend
Hmm.
that's happening? Like, should it still be this way? And I feel like in the gaming space, it's just really hard to have those sort of conversations because there is this like group group hate mentality that comes to be when these sort of topics are brought up. And yeah, it's it, it's it's just ridiculous because how does a game like Slay the Spire come out with such amazing reviews and then
Hmm.
now all of a sudden people aren't liking it, or these people are review bombing it. I think it's ridiculous. And it's also another reason why like something like Metacritic is important because I think you can look at user reviews or critic reviews, and I think that with Steam reviews you can really only look at like it's just all in one, right? So
Hmm.
there's got to be a better system for this. I'm all for people having an opinion, but these are not opinions that hold any water, in my opinion. It's just
Yeah.
nonsense, and at the end of the day, this they might not realize it, but review bombing actually helps games because
Yeah.
then there's all these articles about it, and
Hmm.
people look into it that maybe you never heard of Slay the Spire 2. They look at the Steam page, they're like, oh, this actually looks kind of cool. People that like us that are like, I don't care that so and so was a consultant on the game. You
Yeah.
know, like it's
Yeah,
not like
it's not even like that she said anything new.
right. Yeah, it's
She
like
was just listed as a consultant,
yeah, this is like people going to like review bomb the Thriller album because they just saw the
Yeah.
Michael movie and they didn't like it or something. Like it's just like
Well,
or
I think
or something he
yeah.
did or didn't do, whatever. But
What
like it has
jury's
nothing
out
to
on
do with
that
the
one.
music, anyway, but
Hmm.
it's like they say you got to separate the art from the artist kind of thing, but I think this isn't even at that point yet where
Hmm.
you would have to do that. It's
It's
just
just somebody
ridiculous.
involved.
Like at this point when I see like something's being review bombed, I just ignore it completely because I know if I engage with it in any way, even just like a tweet or like reply and be like this is stupid, it just pushes it further into the algorithm, right? And so
Yeah.
I'm so over the review bombing stuff. I think it's ridiculous, and like you said, there's no good reason to ever review bomb. Um,
Yeah.
so anyway,
Hate to
yeah,
say it, but
yeah,
it's just a matter of you got to get out there and touch some grass, people.
touch some
And
grass.
maybe like get some bitches because I feel like this is a little bit of an admission, right? That like, you don't even talk to a woman that isn't your mother who you're living in their basement,
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
but that's just my opinion.
yeah. Say hi
I'm
to your
gonna
mom
speak
for me. So.
yeah, yeah, say hi to your mother for me. But moving on, Path of Exile.
Yeah.
Build guides? That sounds cool.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring this up because it's something that people have been hyping up. I thought it was a cool update. I think I don't even really play Path of Exile. I played the second one a bit, but they've had a bunch of updates, but this is one that people have been kind of calling out. Essentially, they're adding a way, like a build guide system in the game where you're able to download a build file that you would like to use. So a certain, you want to be a whatever. I don't even know. I remember the classes, but you want to be a certain type of a build for a certain class. And that build file will actually show in the game showing everything that you need to do in order to get to that build, which I think is really cool. I've used similar stuff when it comes to like digital deck, deck building card games. Like Hearthstone kind of had some of that stuff back in the day where you could get like a little add on that would kind of help you guide you in terms of like what cards you need for a certain build. Wouldn't really help you like play that build, but it'd still help you get those cards together. So I think this is awesome because for games like this, especially Path of Exile, where like they're showing in this image, it's hard for me to like open this up, but this is like the skill tree. It's like
Oh
I
my
think this is only
god.
part of the skill tree. It's like it looks like like you're looking into space. It's like a galaxy map kind of vibe. So I know when I was playing Path of Exile, I was just kind of dumping points in whatever I thought sounded cool. But for people that want to follow a specific build, this will help them do that. So I think there's a lot of other games that could benefit from a build guide like this. And it's just cool, they're implementing the system. It's a at least I think this is for the I don't know if this is for the second Path of Exile or the first one. I'm assuming it's for the second one.
Mhm.
But just really cool that they're adding something in here that's such a great quality of life upgrade for new players.
Yeah, love to see it because
Yeah.
sometimes that can be so overwhelming.
Yeah.
You get in, you're just like, oh my god, like where do I even begin?
Yeah.
So having like more, you know, guidelines. Sometimes you got to put the bumpers up at the bowling alley.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing
You
wrong with it.
know, we'll all make fun of you, but there's nothing wrong.
Yeah. Just a little
But
training wheels.
little training wheels. Um, let's get to some notable releases this week, and then we'll talk about Forbidden Solitaire.
Yeah.
First, Black Jacket. This is a game that we really loved the demo, and it's coming out finally. We'll be reviewing it next week. Who knows? We could be on one of the all-time streaks. If this game is actually as good as that demo was, we could be on one of the most all-time streaks ever.
We'll
Because
see.
not to bury the lead much, but like I enjoyed Forbidden Solitaire quite a bit. Is it a certified fresh juice? Stay tuned. But Black Jacket, neat little blackjack roguelike with more story elements than something like Baltro. or even like Gambonanza or something like that. But very exciting to hop into this. You know, they have like
Yep.
full on voice acting for a lot of these characters, and it'll be interesting to see how much this changes because this one, I'm gonna be honest with you, like I could see myself losing myself into quite a bit. Um,
Yeah.
you excited for this one?
Yeah, very excited. I think it almost kind of like snuck up on us because for a while there, it just kind of said it was coming out in May. So usually when that happens, I expect there to be a delay, and now it's coming out, tomorrow as of recording this video. So yeah, very excited to hop back into this one. I think it's it's a game that kind of, we'll talk about Forbidden Solitaire, but yeah, it does have more story elements and kind of, more of that vibe than something like Gambonanza or Balatro. So very excited to see kind of the updates they've made since we last played the demo.
Yeah, should be fun.
Yeah.
Another game coming out is Call of the Elder Gods,
Yeah.
which immediately tells me this is kind of Lovecraftian. This is a puzzle story game.
Yeah, this is a so there's another game called Call of the Sea that came out in 2020 that I know a lot of people liked. I actually didn't realize this one was coming out, but it also comes out May 12th. But yeah, it's kind of a narrative puzzle game. I really like the art style for this one. I think if you're into kind of exploration, puzzle games, obviously this one seems like it'll be a good one. And we'll see what the reviews are, but I know people did really like Call of the Sea, so we'll see if the sequel can live up to it.
Yeah, you can win a custom Switch. Switch
Oh,
2. Sorry. I
pretty
was looking
cool.
at that. I don't know. That was
There it
I would
is.
enter that just for the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Um yeah, it looks good, looks neat, I don't think it's something we're going to be reviewing, but I'm sure if Call of the Sea was popular, this will be popular as well.
Yep.
Mad King Redemption,
Yeah, this
a
is I think you'll like
this
this one,
yeah,
personally. I At
this
least from the
this is
trailer.
yeah, this seems pretty cool. This is a beat 'em up in like a 2.5D world, which 2.5D is something we're probably gonna have to talk about a little bit more because I think it is kind of the future for a lot of indie games.
Yeah.
But yeah, this looks pretty sick.
Yeah, it's a roguelite as well, which is cool, but I had never heard of this game before. And as we obviously like Absalom,
Mm-hmm.
we really enjoyed, and that was a beat 'em up, and it wasn't really a genre I played a lot of. Now I'm like looking at some of these games where I'm like, this is cool. So yeah, Mad King Redemption, just really cool pixel art style. And I'm just hoping that the progression feels good. It is coming out in early access though, so I don't know what the state of it will be when it's out, but something to keep our eye on.
Yeah, this one looks neat. Definitely on the wish list. Also, Outbound is coming out. This is a game that has had a decent amount of hype around it. I feel like
Yeah.
a kind of cozy exploration game. Out on this not a not technically a VW, but it looks like a VW van.
Yeah.
Um, so you get out there, you build a cozy home on wheels. Looks cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is a very light survival-y game. So I've kind of been like keeping my eye on it, see what the reviews are. They're mostly positive right now. But something interesting with this game as well is that originally it was supposed to come out on Thursday of this week, but since the Subnautica 2, the next game that we're talking about, is coming out, they moved their release date up a few days just to get it out. But also I made a tweet about this. I searched for Outbound Steam on Google, and there was like a sponsored, Google link at the top that showed it was the Outbound Steam page. It like said Outbound on Steam. It looked just like the Steam page. You click it, it went to a different game. And
Whoa.
I let the Outbound team know. I tagged them and they said they're going to look into it. But that means that another game or someone else was like bidding on those keywords so that they would show up on Google. So essentially they're spending money so that they like look like Outbound, but it's not really Outbound. It kind of seems like a waste of money to me because once someone
Yeah.
clicks on it, they realize it's not Outbound. But I was like, this is it's a very like scummy marketing tactic if that's what they're doing. It could also just be like just like a bug or something like that. But anyway, yeah, something interesting with this game because you mentioned it has had a lot of hype around it, a lot of places talking about it. It seems like someone's trying to take advantage of that. So, yeah, but Outbound seems cool. There we go.
Sure does. And finally, the game you just mentioned briefly
Oh,
before, Subnautica 2, is coming out. It's a game we've talked about a little bit past couple weeks.
yeah.
This will be a big release. This one, will be cool. I mean, looks great. Hopefully is great.
My
What are you thinking?
body
This is
is
your
ready.
yeah.
They actually just revealed today that you can pre-purchase and preload it. I haven't done that yet because I'm waiting to see if I've reached out to their team to see if I could get a copy so I could start making videos early. But I don't know if that'll happen. But I'm very excited for this one. It is coming out in early access, so I hope it comes out in a good state. But man, it's just survival game after survival game lately, just cooking. It's a good, there's these routes that happen, and then everything decides to release within the same like 30 days. So,
Yeah, of course.
I know it's wild, but yeah, I'm gonna have to try to carve out some time to play this one because I think it'll be a lot of fun. I love the first one, so excited to hop into this one.
Yeah. Looks
Yeah,
cool. I'll be, looking at you to see
yeah,
how you think about it, this one, but it looks very neat. The thing about those games is like I love the idea of just kind of being in a submersible
yeah,
and kind of like, trolling around a little bit. So it is something that like I could see myself eventually getting into. Did they
yeah.
do OG Subnautica on mobile? Am I
I think it's on
crazy
the
to think that?
Switch. I don't think it's
Oh,
on
okay.
mobile. Yeah, but I that's one of my like favorite parts and kind of something they talk about with the Subnautica games is that like it's a lot about exploring. So even in my mind, I know it is a survival game, but even part of me is like, I should just boot it up in like creative mode and just get in
Hmm.
my little pod and just
Hmm.
fly around the ocean. Yeah, so I'm very excited for this one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now
Ooh, is
it
it
is
time?
time to
47
talk
minutes
about
in. Let's do it.
47. Yeah. You know, listen, that's why we do what are they, chapters on
Chapters, yeah.
YouTube. But for the
If you just
listeners,
started watching, there's 47 minutes of great information. You should just
there's
check it out. Okay?
good content.
Yeah.
Have you ever wondered how we like to have our Chinese food? Give
Yeah, we're just gonna
take take a
hitch
little
the rest
look
of the
back.
show. Yeah.
Um all right. Excuse me. Forbidden Solitaire. What is this game? This is a card game that is very story based, almost like a dungeon crawler, right? There's no roguelike elements here. Just so you know. We have to say that. No, we don't have to say it, but it's true. Um, it is a somewhat of a deck builder in a way, right? There's some deck building elements, but this is mostly a story game, right? It's kind of set up in this way where you go in to you're playing as this character um, who is constantly in communication with your sister, and she's like, I think it's her sister, yeah, like who's like, oh, you
Yeah.
have that Forbidden Solitaire game? Oh my god, I heard so much weird stuff about it. So basically, you're kind of going through. You're on the desktop and you're playing this like this meta experience where you're playing this game, and every once in a while, she'll kind of like pop up in like an instant messenger and be like, "Oh my god, I did more research about this game. Check this out." And like it would
Yeah.
send you over to like a video about
Dead
like
kids. Yeah.
dead kids and stuff like
That
that.
played
Like
it. Yeah.
yeah, like people who played it. She's like, "I don't know if you should be playing this." And obviously you're still going to play it because you're playing the game.
Yeah.
But it's basically the core gameplay elements of this are you're going through and there's two different kinds of encounters you can have. One is usually a puzzle right? So you have to clear all the cards on the board and do it before your deck runs out, right? So basically, the gameplay is you have a deck of cards and you have to take a card. When you click on a card on the puzzle, it has to be at least one above or one below of whatever card you have, right? So if you have a king, you got to click a queen or an ace, right? So you kind of want to do these like combos where you're going like, all right, I see a queen, a jack, a 10, and then another jack. So I'll go queen, jack, 10, another jack to like get your combo going, et cetera, and try to clear the puzzle so you can progress to the next encounter. You also have encounters that are like combat encounters. So you know you're running into these like weird creatures in this dungeon, right? So they'll be like, oh, like they'll have like different kinds of things they'll do as you
Yeah.
progress through the game, but like they have a intention kind of indicator. Like in Spire, you can see what the opponent's going to do. So you can click on defense cards on the combat puzzle to like build up your defense, et cetera, et cetera. And
Yeah.
then also the amount of cards you do before you have to go to another card, like within your deck, will be the amount of damage you do to them. So that's kind of like it. It's very, very easy to pick up. The gameplay is super easy. They make it pretty cut and dry, like how you play this game, and you can kind of get a feel for the different kind of strategies you should be kind of approaching each encounter. And you know, there's also like jokers and stuff like that. It's not Balatro, but there are jokers, and these are like special cards that will be like give you certain kind of abilities to be able to play out of order in a turn
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And then also there's like a shop where you can upgrade different things. Basically, you're putting gems in your hand, which is you know a fun little
Super cool. Yeah.
yeah fun little visual gag. Yeah, so you're kind of progressing through this dungeon, and I think there's basically I think four main dungeons. I think it's like the club dungeon, hearts, spades, diamonds, and then you'll get to, you know, whatever, the end of the story. Won't spoil any of it, but it is in terms of the gameplay, I found it very addicting, right? Like it was very hard for me to put this game down. I beat it in one sitting. I logged about 5 hours, right? It's not a long game, but you can get, you know, a lot of enjoyment out of those 5 hours. And I enjoyed my time with it. It's like it's not super challenging. You'll lose a couple, you know, encounters here and there, but like once you get the hang of it, it's like super satisfying to like click on these cards and get them, you know, start doing combos and like, you know, it's got all the makings of like your classic style of like a solitaire game, but like with these like little extra rules and stuff like that. You're just trying
Yeah.
to match cards and kind of go on these runs. So
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. You know, we'll talk about the story side, but like the story elements are pretty fun as well to kind of add to the enjoyment, to break up some of the monotony of just playing a card game sometimes. You're just like, oh, we have another story moment in this game. Let me check that out. Sometimes there's a video, sometimes there's pictures, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So enjoyed the gameplay quite a bit because it's a you know weird game. It really is a weird game, but I don't know. I like weird, and I think a lot of other people do too, based on the other reviews I've seen. So it's very cool. It's very immersive, which I enjoy.
Yeah. I think so let's see. This is a very story driven game. And we'll talk about the story. As far as like playing the actual solitaire in between kind of the story elements, I definitely preferred the like when you're going up against an enemy, right? So
Hmm.
like based on the combo you have is how much damage you're dealing. To me, I kept like in the beginning, I was like, all right, let me think of this like solitaire. And then I started thinking, okay, I'm going to start thinking of this like reverse Uno, where
Yeah.
I see everyone's hands, but I see like everyone's hands are out on the table, but only certain cards are flipped over. and like I need to like it's like I'm playing Uno by myself, kind of. Like that's kind of how I started thinking of the game, and it started I started doing better, I guess, because of it. I agree. Like the actual like card gameplay isn't like super difficult, anything like that. There will be times where you're like, like I was one card away and like I died. Let me try again. And you know, you do get that kind of addictive nature, right? Where you're like, I just one more. You know, I'm just hopping in. These are pretty quick. It's not too, you know, it's not kind of like in Gambonanza, I have to like remind myself, okay, what build was I doing? Like all that sort of stuff. You don't have to do that in this game since it's, you know, it's not a roguelike. One thing I will say with the gameplay that like I figured out that I was like, I wish it wasn't like this was if before you actually go and play, you have the choice to go to the shop. If you go to the shop,
Oh
so
yeah.
before you go to the shop, you can see the kind of cards that are laid out. And then when you go to the shop and you go back, they're all shuffled again. They're all in a different
Yeah.
order. And I was like, if I had known that, because sometimes, not that it makes a huge difference, but sometimes you're like, I can already see like a pattern. If I get the right starting card, I can like hit all these cards kind of at once in this order. So that's just one thing that I was like, I wish it wasn't like that. It's not a huge deal. And then you start to like I didn't realize at first either. It probably explained this, but when you do your combos, it builds up like your mana. And for some reason, I thought that I was like, because it says like 20 out of 40 mana. I thought that when I hit 40, I'd die for some reason.
Oh.
And then the first time I hit it, I was like, "Oh no, it's like I want this. This is what I want." I use an ability that like gets rid of cards for you. You know, those moments were fun to like figure that sort of stuff out. I know it's probably like self-explanatory, and I'm probably just a doofus, but I was just like, I've only got 40 like turns, basically, like moves I can make before this ends. Um, and I do think, you know, I had, you know, I enjoyed still like the puzzles and stuff like that. I definitely, like I said, preferred when you're actually dealing damage to an enemy because I just found that like more satisfying than like, I need to reveal the secret that's behind the card. So I just need to get through all these cards, which is it's okay, but I just prefer the enemies. But I will say I did really enjoy, you know, the story side of things, like in between. Like you're mentioning, there's someone that like pops up and talks to you, like through like AOL kind of messenger vibes. And then you know you're being introduced to different characters and different things happen. I did kind of enjoy that, but this is a very, from a gameplay standpoint, I'll say it's a very like light game. It's not something I
Hmm.
see a lot of discourse around like mixtape right now where it's like there's barely any gameplay. It's not anything like that. There's still like gameplay and like interesting things that can happen. And you know, you can, you know, actually if you're watching on YouTube, like the person's in the shop right now, where you can buy different things so different things happen. Like that's fun, kind of tinkering with that sort of stuff. But it never got to a point where I was like, uh, this is just too difficult because they want you to progress the story, right? That's the whole
Hmm.
point of the game. So, um, yeah, going into this, I think it's just because we played so many different card games like roguelite or roguelikes or whatever. Um, I was expecting this to be more of that, but this is more of like the gameplay for the card just helps you progress through the story versus like it's not like the card gameplay is the main feature of the game, I guess, or the main thing that I kept thinking about. It's I was like, what's gonna happen next? Like, someone's gonna send me another like band commercial where there's like, you know, they interviewed some kid's mom who like the kid died because he played the game. Like, I started getting like, this is like digital Jumanji, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I started getting those kind of vibes. So, I mean, that's probably a good segue into the story, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the gameplay side of things. It's like a lot lighter than I thought it would be, but I think that's kind of the point is that the story is kind of what's driving this game. Because it's just so heavy in the story elements of like that's why you're trying to
Hmm.
play solitaire to unravel the next story beat.
Yeah. One thing I will say before we go to the story is the one thing I wanted more, or like the one thing about this gameplay because it's very simple, or not simple, but like it's very light, like you said, but like it's still enjoyable, right? And when I got done with the game, I just wanted more, right? So I think the one thing that I would, if I could like reach out to the devs and be like, could you add like an endless mode or something like that? Because that would be
Right.
sick. I think that would be like such a good addition to this game. Or just tell me you're working on a sequel and like there's going to be different kind of elements there. But moving on to the story though, yeah, this is like you said, this is a very story focused game. Like you are kind of like playing a little bit of like a short film in a
Yeah.
way, right? Like a almost like a student horror film. I think that's just like it's the best way to kind of like say what's going on here, right? Like you have this like cursed solitaire game that you somehow got a hold of a copy of, and you're playing through it, and the whole time your sister's been like, there's something weird about this game. Like there's it's yeah, it's a creepy game, but there's more to it, right? And as you play, you're going to continue to get more like tidbits about it. And
Yeah.
eventually, I won't spoil anything, but like it kind of comes to a head towards the end of the game where you're like, oh, okay, like there's some real supernatural stuff going on with the game
Mm.
more than just because like in the early game, in the early parts of the story, there's a lot of like, oh, there was weird stuff that was going on with the development and the guy who, his idea it was, and this, that, and the other thing. But wait, there's like weird stuff going on with like certain people that were working on the project. And
Yeah.
then like also like why did some people end up dead that were playing this game? So I really enjoyed it. Like I was kind of I like I said, I sat down. It must have been like 9 o'clock, right? Lady Fresh was next to me. I was playing it up on the TV, just hooked up a mouse to my Steam Deck like dock
Hmm.
and just played the game. And she loved it too because she's like, I love like these kind of puzzle games anyway. Like it was like, oh, there's a six there, boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. And then like on top of that, you get all these like I was kind of locked in on the story. I was locked in on the story.
There's no such thing as stories in video game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I'll be yeah, whatever, I'll be crucified. So really really neat. It's silly, but the horror elements are fun, and that on top of the kind of like late 90s early 2000s computer game aesthetic, which we'll talk about with the visuals, like just really combined for a pretty unique experience. I haven't played a game like this, so
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at with it as well. Is like I just haven't played anything like this before. I think it was a really smart or very just like cool decision to like kind of have this meta experience that you're talking about where it's like the game when you boot the game up it's like a desktop screen. You have to
hmm.
physically then open Forbidden Solitaire,
Yeah.
right? Because there's a messenger, I didn't even try clicking the other stuff. I'm sure you can. I think there might be even a link to like their Discord or something like that in there, but um uh that was a cool kind of experience because as you're playing through the game, you kind of forget that there's like people that could message you or like your sister's messaging you. Like you forget that this isn't the game. It's like the game is outside of this in this desktop experience. So I think that was a really cool choice from a story perspective. Um there's even like I'm mentioning, you kind of forget that other people or like your sister can message you. But there's one thing that like happens that like recently happened to me. I'm like 2 hours ish, I think, into the game. But you start just hearing an interview of like someone that wanted to work at this game studio. Like you hear like the audio of it, and it like scared me because it just like starts. It's just like, why do you want to work here? I'm like, oh god, I'm like, is I thought something at first. I was like, is something else on my computer saying that? But then you start to also get these kind of weird vibes. I'm very curious to see how this game unravels because you start to get these weird vibes of like, why is this guy's acting very weird in the interview, like the one who is working for the game studio. Um, and yeah, you just kind of get these. very weird vibes. And I will say, typically, games that like you can see it on the screen right now or for a second ago, but they kind of tell you like the story, right? Just kind of these text prompts that pop up, and you're like, oh, and then you fall over, you hit your head on something, you pass out, then you wake up. Like typically, like those kind of games, I tend to stay away from because I'm just like, how interesting could like this be? But I think the fact that this is like Forbidden Solitaire is a game that's running on this other game that you're technically playing, um, kind of like helps move the story along. Like there's not really much that you would need to do. Like you don't physically need to walk down these dungeons, right? Like it's okay. The story is just kind of told to you versus you having to like go in and experience the story and experience like these cutscenes, and things of that nature. So yeah, I think I've never played anything like this. I'm curious to see how it unravels, but yeah, I just kept thinking this is like digital Jumanji, right? Where it's like this forgotten about game is like found, and then you don't realize kind of the weight of the decisions that you're making while you're playing the game. Like, I'm curious to know, is every decision I've made in this game gonna somehow, kind of be the what kind of control what happens at the end, and be the deciding factor or something like that. So yeah, cool story so far. Definitely on the horror side, but not to the point where it's like if you're not into horror games, you wouldn't play something like this. Because I'm not into
Mhm.
horror games. Like it's not like scaring me or anything like that, but definitely more on the horror side of things. And yeah, yeah. But I like the story so far. I want to ask you so many questions, but I also want to figure
Yeah.
it out myself. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, like it's a breeze. This game is so easy to just like blow through the whole thing. It's so
yeah,
you'll get there. Now, excuse me, visuals. This is a cool looking game, right? Like this is 100% a nostalgia trip, right? Like this reminds me of, if you remember, like at Walmart, right? Or even like sometimes like CVS, like 20 years ago.
yeah.
Like you would go in, there'd be a little like end cap display of just computer games, like discs
Oh
you
yeah,
can just grab. And like this just looks like some random one you got, right? Like, we all had some random computer game that, like, maybe it wasn't that good or something like that, but like, super janky, the graphics weren't crazy. But, it had this kind of like aesthetic. And, I think that this kind of really nails that kind of like these bizarre looking 3D models
yeah,
in like this kind of dungeon crawler esque um, setting. I think the actual, like, if you want to talk about like what looks like really good on purpose, I think the actual cards look really slick, for what they're supposed to be, kind of like these, not like true playing cards, but like these kind of like, you know creepy dungeony kind of playing cards.
yeah,
Neat little designs. Like I think if I saw a screenshot of this game anywhere, I would be like, "Oh, that was Forbidden Solitaire." I remember that. That was a lot of fun. So it's weird, it's wacky. You get some like strange looking creatures and like things you kind of run into, but like there's not like a lot of like animation or anything like that outside of the actual cards. So it's a weird kind of trippy look to a game. I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, you've seen the hand that you throw gems into. It reeks of like 2002
yeah,
computer game, honestly. So I'm a fan of it. It made total sense for what this game is. You know, it would feel weird if this was like, super hyper polished or even pixel like art or anything like that. I don't think it would have the same charm.
yeah. No, I agree. And this is what I'm gonna just show this on the screen. The art style immediately reminded me of Neversoft.
Yeah.
They made like the Spider-Man games, the what
Did
else
they
did they
do
make?
any of the
Tony
Tony
Hawk.
Hawks?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tony Hawk. Like especially in the beginning when like the eyeball kind of like rolls on the blood and
Mm-hmm.
it says Forbidden Solitaire. For some reason, my brain was like Never Saw. It's gonna say Never Saw.
Yeah.
Which by the way is also true, right, Tom?
Yeah.
But as far as yeah, the art style, I agree. Like it reminds me of something that you just randomly picked up as a kid one day, and you're like, "Oh, this is kind of fun, kind of interesting." Which obviously is what they're going for from the story side of things as well. So they really nailed that, and they kind of have these, like the 3D models are like these like clay sort of like like it's almost like when I look at these sort of 3D models, I'm like, okay, like this is as good as they could do for the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I think of when I play like Ocarina. I'm like, all right, they're not the best, but this is really good at the time. This is what they were going for, right? Because it's kind of this like forgotten about old game. And I think they did a good job. Also, when it comes to like actually playing with the cards, like animations are cool. Like the UI is good as well. It's kind of like tight and also just has like some character to it, right? There's like a little like gargoyle hand holding your health orb, like all these little things they didn't really need to have in the game, but I think the art is really what makes this game stand out. Like truly, like if I saw this, at PAX or I think even just when we first saw like a trailer for this game, I was like, the art is what kind of stands out. I'm like, what is this? This just seems so like insane. I also think that from the art side of things, um, what is not necessarily like I guess it wasn't like needed, but is cool that they did is pretty much every time you go to play a level with cards, they're in like a different formation, right? So you kind of like
Mm-hmm.
it's not like solitaire. It's like every time you're playing, you know where the cards are going to be. So like you have to kind of like remap your mind every level to make sure that you're looking at the cards that are like available to play for you. Because sometimes I like when you skip or you go to the next card, if there's a card that you could have played the last turn, it kind of wiggles a little bit. And I'm just like, oh man, I wasn't looking up in the top left corner for some reason. I just wasn't like
Yeah.
used to doing that. So I think from an art standpoint, like it was a cool decision to have these cards be in different orientations. It kind of just, because you have kind of similar mechanics, right, with every level that you're doing, other than jokers you get, or sometimes there's little special cards. But I think changing the orientation of them is a cool idea. And then the last point I'll make is the one of the coolest art things in the game is the hand. You're attaching the gems to the hand, and like
Mm-hmm.
it's just a cool you know cool kind of a little addition there. So yeah, that's the art. That's
That
what we
is
were
the
talking
art.
about, right? We were talking about art.
Yeah, we were talking about art, and yeah,
Cool.
now we'll move on to the
Sick.
sound effects and music. Pretty killer,
Yeah.
super creepy dungeon kind of like almost
Ooh, yeah.
like dungeon synthy kind of thing
Yeah.
going on. It does feel very, and then the actual sounds of the cards going as you do combos sounds really cool. Even like small things like attaching the gems to your hand sounds pretty, satisfying. So
Yeah.
great job there as well. I don't have a lot of notes on it. It's just honestly, it was cool. And then like there's stuff like voice acting and actual straight up acting at certain points that are quite good. So
Yeah.
um,
Is it
yeah, good
truth or
stuff.
tale?
Yeah.
Which yeah, pretty good like, voice acting and stuff. I think the most sad I don't have a lot of notes on the sound either, but the most satisfying thing is when there's coins added to your your wallet essentially. It's like little like coin sound. I'm like, yes, like, I got more money to spend in the shop. That's probably the most satisfying thing to me. But yeah, got the creepy vibes down. It definitely didn't get annoying, anything like that. Sound was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And performance wise, worked like a charm for me. Um, I had no issues. I played, like I said, I did Steam Deck docked with a mouse, and just sat there on the couch and played. And it was a lot of fun. No
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah, I just played on PC. Worked well. No issues at all.
All right, let's get to the rating. Our ratings are as followed: certified fresh juice, which we're on a turkey currently. Are we on a ham bone? Is the question. These are games that we just like really love and we think are great, and we would recommend for anybody. After that is a steal. These are games that are good. They're not quite great, but they're good, and we recommend them. They're still worthwhile. On sale, these are games that have like good qualities, maybe need some updates, or just like we're kind of iffy on it. It's
Mhm.
not bad, but not good per se. Manager Special, these are games that maybe aren't really for us, but perhaps could be for you if you really like that genre, or we just think that maybe just wait for it to be on like a deep discount or free to play. And then Spoiled Milk are games that we do not recommend. What is your rating for Forbidden Solitaire?
You go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was a pretty clean cut and dry certified fresh juice for me. I really like the biggest issue with this game for me is that it isn't more of it, right? Like that's how much fun I had with it. I breezed through it. And actually I was just looking because I played this actually before Game Bonanza like a week or two ago. So I hadn't really looked since I beat it, but they just added New Game Plus to the game, which is
Oh.
really, really cool. So that's something I'll be jumping into later because I did really enjoy this game. And I think it's a real gem. I think this is like unique, weird, fun, and just like a good time. Just like a, kind of like unapologetically itself, which I really like. So Forbidden Solitaire is a banger for me.
All right. Well, I hate to disappoint you. Okay. I hate to do it.
All
But
right.
Forbidden Solitaire for me is a certified fresh juice. We're going for
Oh,
the
ham
ham
bone.
bone. We're ham
Ham
boning.
bone.
I think that this game, going into it, I feel like I had different expectations. Not in the sense of like, that it wouldn't be good or anything like that. Just in terms of like the card play, I was like, I'm thinking of all these other games that we've played, right? And I had to kind of realize, okay, this is a lot more simple than I'm trying to make it out to be. And I think, like you said, this game is like unapologetically itself. Like I've never played anything like it, and I think it delivers on a lot of fronts. Like it just it it's a good example of an indie game doing something different and it working out. Like they actually care about the craft. You can tell that they're like they put so much effort, so much time into building out this game. I also think I mean, this has nothing to do with my rating, but has a great name, like
Mm-hmm.
Forbidden Solitaire. It's not some weird. I mean, I love Game Bonanza, but it's also like trying to like say that to people. They're like, "What is it called? What is it?"
Huh?
Forbidden
What?
Solitaire, you're like, or even like Balatro. People were like, "What?" Like, I mean, now it's a little, it's easier because it's just so big. But Forbidden Solitaire, it's like, yeah, it's like solitaire, but it's forbidden. Check it out. But yeah, it's a great game. We got the ham bone. Black Jacket next week. Are we going for the five bagger or
Was that what it
the
was?
Yahtzee? The
Yahtzee,
Yahtzee. We
Yahtzee.
going for the Yahtzee? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
I
know.
mean, this could be. Let's go for the six pack. Let's
Yeah.
come on.
And then what would be wild is after this doing like 6 spoiled milks in a row, just being what
Oh
is
my god.
happening?
Yeah, what
Uh
happened?
yeah.
Yeah. Really, really, really fun little game. I also noticed that I remember we didn't actually call out the price. It's a $15 game, and it is 10% off until May 14th. It is developed by Gray Alien Games, Night Signal Entertainment, and published by Night Signal or by the same people. So, got to give a
Yeah.
shout out to them. We got some next week will be Black Jacket. We have some listener questions. First one comes from Capolo, who asks, "What is the best fusion cuisine?"
The best fusion cuisine. Well, I will say I don't like Tex-Mex. I don't like it. I don't know why. Just not a fan of it. I guess that is that a fusion cuisine
I guess
technically.
so. Yeah.
Um, Probably
You
my.
don't like Tex-Mex?
I mean,
What
maybe I
is it? What
haven't
does
had the
Tex-Mex
right.
even
I
mean?
just I just feel like it is. It's like white people Mexican food, Tom. That's what
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
is. And I
Sure.
don't know. Like we have a local Mexican place that I just think is delicious. I guess I'm assuming that that is actual Mexican food, but I do love. There's a place. Shout out Asbury Park. A place called Mogo. It's very good. Which is like they've had like a Korean like cheesesteak kind of theirs. It's like Korean fusion with like I guess American with some stuff. They got like Korean burritos and stuff like that. I believe that's really good. I really like the that sort of stuff. So I guess I go with that, you know. I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of like other fusion food I've had. Um I mean I like I don't know. What about you? You got anything that comes to mind?
Well, I have bad news. You do like Tex-Mex because you said you like fajitas at the beginning of the show.
No, but not from Tex-Mex places.
Fajitas are an iconic dish. I think it is Tex-Mex. That is a
No,
Tex-Mex dish.
not.
Enchiladas, tamales, chili con carne,
Wait, they're
tortilla
not
soup.
Mexican? They're
It's
Tex-Mexican?
Tex-Mex. I mean, like you have. I mean,
From
it's right on the border.
Texas?
Tex is
I
it's like one meets the other.
I can't eat something from Texas. So wait, is like Korean barbecue technically fusion? Because it's
I
like
don't know.
barbecue's like a
Let's see.
American thing, right?
Fusion cuisines.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Um,
Italian American. I guess Italian American. Yeah, I like pizza. Uh,
yeah.
I guess. Um,
Italian fusion, pizza, spaghetti, pasta, risotto. Uh, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know. What's my favorite fusion? I usually Asian with something else.
yeah,
I don't know. It's like let's
Korean
take the
mix.
best food, which is like I think in general kind of Asian food, although the French may have something to say about that. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, I don't know. So Asian meets something else. So it's like a sushi burrito is kind of fun. It's kind of
Yeah,
fun. Not that great, but it is fun. So thanks for the
there we go.
question, Capolo. Miatron asks, assuming you guys run this pod as a side hustle, I don't even know if it's a hustle. Uh,
It's just on the
side,
side.
front, or back, or otherwise. It's just we're just doing it. What do you guys do full time? Well, I'm a beer salesman. That's what I do.
Yeah. And I'm an SEO AEO manager. So search
Ooh,
engine optimization for a software company. But yes, this is definitely I think we've lost money on the podcast. Definitely.
oh
Um
yeah,
in terms of what we buying games and software and all that sort of stuff. We don't do really anything
it's a hobby.
yeah, it's a hobby. It's something we have fun doing and who knows, maybe one day it's something that we start considering more of a side hustle. But yeah, we both got full-time jobs. Tommy travels a lot for his. I work from home. So it's great that we're able to carve out some time to do the pod every week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amen. Thanks
Yeah.
for the question, Miatron. And finally, Bags asks, what's your favorite phone or computer application that is not a video game or social media?
Steam. Um no, probably not Steam. I mean, I know I recommended Obsidian last week. I've been enjoying doing that. Enjoying that app. It's like a cool note-taking app. I'm trying to think on my phone what I like to use a lot. Um I don't you have anything that comes to mind?
I mean, the two I use the most, Apple Maps and Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify. Yeah.
Which is, I think, would qualify. I like Spotify more, although I don't really like Spotify as a company, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
I get you.
yeah, yeah. It'd be
Um,
nice if like I could get what Spotify offers, but the artists get actually paid well. But
right. Yeah.
yeah,
No, they'll never do that. That's I mean, we haven't seen a cent from Spotify. We're on
yeah,
there, you know?
yeah. Oh,
Um,
Pocket Cast. I use Pocket
yeah,
Cast for my podcast.
there you go. Pocket Cast, baby. Probably I'm just looking at my phone here. I love this app actually. It's called NZB 360. So
Hmm.
I run my own like Plex server. I have like my own media server. And essentially what this app does, it connects to that. And then like if I ever want to download a movie or a show, like it's a really nice UI. It's like I'm browsing Netflix basically. And I'm like, oh, I'll get this movie and just add it, boom. Because normally to add that stuff, it's like it just like, yeah, I gotta visit this like IP address on your computer. It's like all this like annoying stuff. So this has really been a game changer for me because I'm able to see, oh, what's in theaters right now or what movies are coming out, and it's super easy. Like if someone like actually like Bags sometimes has been like, hey, can you add this to the Plex server? I just open up the app, search it, boom, boom, added. Auto downloads and everything. So that's been great. But I think the best feature for it it has a calendar tab. So I'm able to be like, oh, there's a new shrinking season starting next week. And it's like all color coded. So like if there's a new season next week, it's like that day is like yellow, has a little yellow dot on it. I'm like, oh, there's a new season of a show we watch starting next week. So sometimes I'll just look at like the month ahead and I'll be like, oh man, three of our favorite shows are starting next week, a new season or something like that. So yeah, NZB 360. It's really cool. One of the coolest things about it too, whatever, I know I'm talking a lot about it, but something I wish that more apps would do is it's a free app, but you can get like the paid um premium thing. It's like a lifetime thing. I think it was like $6. But they have this system on here called bounties, where it's like they have all these features that they want to make, and you can decide to like, hey, I'm gonna throw $5 their way for that feature. And then once they get enough, they just build the feature out. So it's almost like it's like a Kickstarter for their own app for features in their app. And it's all like community stuff that they want. So it's like every month I basically get like an update of like, here's all the feature bounties that we completed that you guys helped us fund. Like I wish like imagine like I don't know, like Spotify had that. Be like, hey, I wish Spotify had this feature and people could just chip in money for them to make it, even though they got enough money, I guess. But this is for like smaller apps that you like to use, like Pocket Cast, right, or something like that. They could do something like that. I thought that was a really cool idea. So anyway, shout out to
Cool.
that app. Yeah, good
Shout
question,
out.
Bags. I wasn't thinking about
Good
that.
question.
Eh.
And finally, it brings us to the rec room where we recommend something that perhaps is not an indie game. What do you have to recommend this week?
I'm actually recommending a new show that me and Lady Juice started watching. It's a new Apple TV show. I think it's only 3 episodes in. It's called Widow's Bay. It's with the main guy is Matthew Reese, who
Mm-hmm.
I've never really seen before, but I think he's in that Mister Rogers movie. He might be Mister Rogers. I don't really know, but I just heard that brought up. But it's kind of like a horror comedy sort of show where there's this island called Widow's Bay. He's the mayor of the island, but the island has this like weird history where like this fog rolls in and there's like it's got like dead sailors in the fog that like it'll kill people. It's kind of like it's haunted. The island is haunted
Mm-hmm.
essentially. Um Also Stephen Root's in it as well, which he's great in a lot of things. I always think of him in Barry, but yeah, it's an interesting show. It's got a good amount of like humor kind of wrapped into it. And yeah, I mean Apple TV I feel like has just been killing it, and Widow's Bay has been one that's been fun to watch and also just kind of interesting. But there's this like theory in the show where like if you were born on the island and you go to the mainland, you die. And so the mayor, this guy, he was born on the mainland, but he would visit the island every summer, so he's very familiar with it. But his son was born on the island, and I think what's going to happen, I'm just predicting that his son is going to like fall in love with some girl from the mainland. And
Ooh.
the mayor also doesn't believe in that all these superstitions, so he stays in this like haunted inn for a night. And there's the guy who plays BJ from Righteous Gemstones is like in the house, and
Oh,
anyway,
really?
it's like it's got some funny moments in it. But I recommend it. Widow's Bay. We're only 3 episodes in because that's all that exists, but yeah, it's a good watch. So I recommend it if you're into like horror kind of comedy sort of shows. So yeah,
All right.
there you
Cool.
go.
Yeah, this one actually sounds like something we'd really enjoy. So we'll be checking that out.
Yeah. What about you?
My recommendation is just a video. I couldn't really think of anything, but I was watching it today, and it just makes me laugh so hard. It's Jiminy Glick is interviewing Bill Hader. So if you don't know who Jiminy Glick is, it's a character by Martin Short where he kind of plays this like kind of like boisterous, idiotic, kind of interviewer, and he's been doing it for like 30 years now,
Yeah.
but he'll still bust it out every once in a while. I think he was like covering for Jimmy Kimmel like a year or two ago and was doing interviews, and he did it with Bill Hader. Funny enough, you just mentioned Barry. And like the jokes are just, and he's got Bill Hader just dying.
Yeah.
So it's just a fun watch, and some of the jokes in there are just like top tier. I laugh every time I watch it. So check
Nice.
out the Bill Hader interview with Jiminy Glick. So
Is it like a Between Two Ferns kind of vibe?
a little bit. It's not as dry. It's more
Okay,
like
okay. Gotcha.
I linked it. You can watch it after.
Cool.
But
And
that's
sorry,
gonna do it for the show.
I had the rating screen up too that entire time we did listener questions and
that's
apologies,
fine.
listeners,
That's
but
fine.
yeah, at least only if you're watching you saw that. Anyway,
Yeah,
there we go.
yeah, it's all good. That's gonna do it for the show. You can all find me on Blue Sky, mostly at Fresh Buds Pod. I have another podcast called Fresh and Buds. Working on another video series for that YouTube channel right now. It's a lot of work actually, but I'm hoping that it's going to be kind of like a nice companion piece to the podcast over there. So
Nice.
please go check all that stuff out. You can find us on all socials at Fresh Juice Pod. Where can people find you?
Find me at Matty Gorm, GRM, on all the socials. Matty Gorm YT on Instagram as well. Been posting more survival game stuff over there. I got a lot of more stuff I got to work on this week, so stay tuned for that.
We will. You know what I'm saying? Let's get juicy.
Ham bone, ham bone, ham bone.
Ham bone.